Hey guys, welcome back to the Dirty Tank, and today we're going to go over everything you need to set up your first or 100th fish tank. Alright guys, so the first thing you're going to need to set up a fish tank is a fish tank. Now there's tons of different options. I got plenty in the fish room here, so I'll show you a few different ones that we have. But you're gonna need a fish tank, and it doesn't have to be a traditional fish tank, right? When you think of a fish tank, you think of something like this, or like that, or like these guys down here, or any of these. But it can also be a tub, right? This is a 35-gallon barrel, food grade. This one over here is a container. I have a 110-gallon mini pond outside, and then for plants, I can show you. I also have this like cement mixer thing that I never use for cement, just for my plants here. But I plan on putting a couple fish in here, small ones, just to keep the ecosystem going. But it doesn't have to be just a standard glass fish tank, but typically that's what you're gonna want if you're gonna want to enjoy viewing it. But there's other types you can get also. But let's talk about the most common fish tanks. So you have fish tanks like these. This is probably my favorite dimension of a tank. This is a 40-gallon breeder. Now this tank here is a good size. It holds 40 gallons of water. It's not too large, but it's not too small where it's hard to do things with. You can get slightly larger fish in this one. I have the trout goodyeds here. These fish are amazing. My next favorite size aquarium is the 20 long. So it's a 20 gallon and it's long versus the 20 high, which is taller than it is larger in length, right? But there's tons of different options, whether you want to get a 10 gallon or a 20 gallon or even a 2 gallon like this one right here. Now the other thing that you'll notice is that the rimmed aquariums are a lot cheaper, right? They're more affordable. And the rimmed aquariums are anything with a plastic rim on them. Now, if you're looking for something a little fancier, you could get a rimless aquarium, right? These are 35-gallon cube aquariums. They have no rims on them at all, which means this is just all glass. Now there's some specifics you'll have to remember, like you want to make sure you have a leveling mat underneath, like I have for mine. And you'll have to get a special lid for this one as well, since it doesn't have a rim for it to lay on. But other than that, it's a great option. It looks amazing, but they're going to cost a little bit more. Now, ways to get, I guess, a lower cost on some of these fish tanks is buy them used, right? One thing I love doing is buying used fish tanks. They're just as good, right? All you got to do is look at the seam where the silicone is. If it looks all beat up, probably not something you want to buy. But if it's still in good condition, regardless of what the glass looks like, you're gonna be a-okay. You can always scrub off that lime scale or hard water stains. Normally pretty easy depending on how bad it is. So Facebook Marketplace is where I got a good bit of my tanks, right? Normally you can get them about $1 a gallon, maybe $1.50 a gallon, right? So a $10 tank, a 10-gallon tank you may be able to get for $10 or maybe $15, which is way less than retail, even when retail have its sales. The other place you can get pretty good aquariums, pretty good fish tanks, is from your local fish store. I'm not talking about commercial like PetSmart or Petco. I'm talking about your local mom and pop fish store. I got maybe about, in my other fish room when I lived in North Carolina, I probably got about 10 to 15 of my fish tanks from this one fish store. They moved locations, they redid all their fish tanks, and they were selling their old fish tanks for $1 a gallon. So I was able to get 40-gallon breeders that retail for like $150 for 40 bucks. I was able to get 10 gallons for $10. So there's lots of ways to lower your costs there, but the first thing you're gonna need is a fish tank. Now, when you think about getting a fish tank, you're gonna wanna make sure of what you're gonna put in it to make sure it's appropriate for the size fish that you want. So keep that in mind. And the other thing is the weight of the fish tank itself, right? Now, an easy way to do math, I just add a 0 after the number of gallons to get the approximate weight. Now this is an estimate. You could do the exact, it's like 7 point something, I think. But just to make it easy, I just put a 0 at the end. So a 20 gallon, you add a 0 after the 20, that's 200. That's 200 pounds of weight that you're going to want to make sure whatever you put it on can support that. A 10 gallon would be 100, a 40 gallon would be 400, and so on. Again, it's an overestimate, but it kind of is a quick way to do that math to know if the furniture you're putting it on can support its weight. All right, the next thing that you're gonna need whenever you're setting up a fish tank is a light. Now, I got a number of different lights in here. I got shop lights, I got actual aquarium lights, I got some of the lower end aquarium lights and the high end aquarium lights, and even that mid-grade in the middle. So you're gonna want to decide what kind of light you want. There isn't a perfect option. It depends. Are you going to be growing a lot of plants? Is it a small tank? Is it a large tank? Is it a deep tank? You're going to want the light to be able to penetrate down to the bottom. So it's up to you. Now, some of the things that I would recommend is you don't have to go crazy on getting a light that has a full spectrum unless you want to do an ultra high-tech aquarium. And if that's your thing, then go ahead and dive into it. But the biggest thing I would recommend with a light is make sure it has a built-in timer somehow so that it turns on automatically and it turns off automatically. Because if you don't, and you say, well, I'm just going to turn it on and off every day, trust me, you're going to forget, you're going to go on vacation, life's going to catch up, and you're going to leave the light on for a week, and you're going to come back and everything's green. You can't even see through it because you grew so much algae because you forgot to turn off the light. And so just having a timer built in kind of saves you for the money of having to buy a plug timer that you plug your light into. So find a light that has a timer. That would be my biggest recommendation for the second thing you need to set up a fish tank. Now the third thing that you'll need whenever you're setting up a fish tank is a filter. And there's lots of different options. I don't think no filter, I don't think any given filter is better than another, other than looking at the amount of surface area that filter capacity has, right? That's the biggest thing when you are looking at the filter is, does it have the surface area in its filter media to handle whatever size tank it's going into. And so you got tons of different options. You have sponge filters, which are these guys here. Now all my filters are off right now just so it's quiet, but a sponge filter runs through air. Air comes through that tube, it goes down into the sponge, and then the air comes back up through the tube, pulling water in through the sponge and out. So it just constantly cycles through. This is a really good filtration system, and it's great if you need something that doesn't create a lot of flow, right? Betas, for example, don't like a ton of flow in the tank, but maybe rainbows love flow. So you're gonna want, maybe this wouldn't be the best for a fish that really likes a lot of flow in their tank. And so you got tons of different options. You got the sponge filter. You also have, let me turn this around. You also have a hang on back filter, which is just a filter that hangs on the ledge of the back of the tank, and then there's a pump in that hangs down, and it goes up the pump, fills a little reservoir, and spills over. And you have sponges or other filter media inside it to do kind of all the filtration and trap the debris and house that good bacteria that you need. Now, there are two other types of filtration, of the more common types. You have a canister filter. Those are generally can be used for larger tanks if you like. There's tons of different ways to do larger tanks, but canister filter is just an easy option. You don't have to build anything. It comes in this bucket looking thing with stages of filter media. It comes with hoses, an inlet and an outlet. The inlet hangs down into it, the outlet kind of is at the top. It sucks water in, it goes through that canister bucket, and then it goes out the outlet, filtering your water pretty seamlessly. If you have a larger tank, you probably want to opt in for that. But they also make canister filters little bitty for even these smaller nano tanks, just if you don't want anything in your tank to be visible that isn't plants and fish and decorations and whatnot. If you want the filter and the heater to be hidden, that could be an option for you to do as well. Now, the other option you have is an internal canister filter. So it's a little bucket looking thing that goes inside the tank, and it normally suctions to the side, and it sucks in through the bottom and it spits out through the top, and in the middle is sponges or other type of filter media to help filter your water. So those are the main types of filters that you'll typically find. Now, there are other types like Matten filters and sumps that normally require some kind of building knowledge to do that. So we're not going to go over those, but if you are interested, let me know and I can talk about my experience in a video. Now, the fourth thing that you'll need to set up a fish tank is a heater. And this is actually optional because it really depends on where you live and where these tanks will go, right? Because for most of us, not everyone, and I understand this, but most of us do have a climate controlled house, right? We have air conditioning and we have heat. And if you have that and it's around the temperature of what your fish thrives at, then you may not need a heater. But heater is always good to have it handy just in case you want to make spawning easier, just in case you have some kind of medical thing, just in case you have a cold day or whatever it happens to be, you have that heater in hand. And there's some fish that are just going to need a heater, right? Discus, for example, they need to be in the high 80s. Rams need to be in the mid to high 80s. There's lots of fish that will thrive a lot more in those higher temperatures, that 77, 78, 80 degree realm. And so if you have some of those fish, then you're gonna wanna make sure you have a heater. For my fish room here, I actually heat the fish room. So if you have your fish in a designated area, you can actually heat the room, right? I use a space heater, and if we look at my handy dandy thermometer, we can see it's 74 degrees in here, which is around where I want to keep it. Anywhere from 72 to 75 is generally what I'm looking at for this fish room here. Now, the heaters don't have to be fancy. I'll put a link in the description of the heaters that I use. I have a couple heaters in here just to keep those specific tanks a little bit warmer for those specific fish, and if I want to induce spawning and things like that, it's already there. So a heater you definitely want. If in your house it is climate controlled and you like it, keep it down to 68 because you just love being cold, keep that in mind. You're definitely going to want a heater to put in your fish to make sure they're nice and warm and they're not going to get stressed out. And they normally color up a lot more when they're comfortable, so it goes a long way in just enjoying your. Now the fifth thing that you'll need to set up a fish tank is substrate. Now there isn't a right way or a wrong way to do this, but generally you're going to want something on the bottom of your tank, whether that's sand or gravel. I use a combination of sand and gravel mix. That's what most of my tanks are. Some of them are just gravel, some of them are just sand. And there's a debate, like, which is better? Is sand better or is gravel better? And really it's just a personal preference. You could say there is another substrate, it's aqua soil. And yes, you're right, aqua soil is another type, but I'm not going to talk about that substrate for this particular video. But sand versus gravel, which one is better? That's really up to you, right? Depending on which one looks better to your eyes. For me, I love a sand substrate mixed in with a little bit of rocks. That's generally the way I like to do it. Sand for me seems to be a little bit easier to clean, but it does come with some cons. It does compact a little bit more, which means that plants that are planted in it may have a harder time growing. But if you are able to mix those in with rock, or if you poke it a little bit every so often, sounds tedious, it can really help that substrate thrive and make your plants thrive. So which one's better? It's really up to you on which one you would prefer. Now, some tips on saving money on your substrate. Now, if you go to the fish store, you can buy a 20-pound bag of sand for 20 bucks, right? If you buy a 20-pound bag of gravel at the fish store, you'll pay 20 bucks. But if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot or any hardware store, you can get a 50-pound bag of sand for like $6. You can get a 50-pound bag of gravel for like $6. And so those are completely safe to use. I've used pool filter sand, black diamond blasting sand. I've used play sand. All of those are just $5 or $6 for a 50-pound bag. And you can also buy gravel. I buy pea gravel. This gravel right behind me, we'll take a look at it. That gravel is just a larger diameter pea gravel that I think it's called like Riverstone actually, that I bought at Lowe's, right? And it's really cost effective. Now, there are some stones that you'll have to buy in an aquarium store, especially if you're looking for a specific look. Or a very specific color. So not telling you to shy away from the fish store, but if you are looking to save some cost in this area, this is a good way to do it. Especially if you have a larger fish tank. You're gonna need a lot of substrate compared to, you know, maybe a 10-gallon where maybe just one bag would do the trick. So that's the 5th thing you'll need when setting up a fish tank. Now the 6th thing that you'll need when setting up a fish tank is decor. Now I'm putting a lot of things into decor. Let me show you as we turn around. For decor, it could be something like plants, right? You'll want some plants. Plants do a ton of good things for the quality of your water. It helps keep everything under control, helps keep algae under control, helps keeps some of the more toxic levels of ammonia, nitrite under control. But it doesn't have to be plants. You can also have larger rocks. Medium-sized rocks are a great decor option as well. If we look down here, you can have coconut shells. You can make this from the grocery store. I made that out of just a whole coconut. Isn't too difficult to do. Here's my daughter tank. You can have the fake and colorful decorations as well. Those look great. Here's my other daughter's tank. You have the plastic plants, and those are just fine as well. There's tons of different options that you can choose on what decor you want in your tank or what you don't want in your tank. If you're more on the natural side, then you can get a lot of this from your backyard. Maybe some larger boulders, maybe a cool piece of driftwood that you found, and then the rest you can definitely buy in store, or if you don't live in an area where you can kind of collect that where it makes sense to, definitely buy it on store. Even at the hardware store, you can get some really cool pieces of rock, some larger rock that you can use as decor and kind of separate spaces for your fish. Now, the last thing that you'll need whenever setting up a fish tank is dechlorinator. Generally, when you have a fish tank, you're going to have to do water changes every week or every other week or every month, depending on how you set up your tank, your filtration, how many fish are in there, how many plants are in there. All that will play a part. But whenever you do a water change, you'll probably have some amount of chlorine and chloramine in there, and a dechlorinator will help eliminate the chlorine and heavy metals in the water, so it's not as, I guess, harmful for your fish. Now, it's just a little bottle, and it has the dosing instructions on the back. If you removed, let's say the 20-gallon up there. If you removed half the water, that's 10 gallons. So I'm refilling it back up with 10 gallons. The cap may say 1 capful for every 10 gallons, so I can just put 1 capful in there. Well, guys, and that's the last thing you'll need to set up a fish tank, and you'll have something like any number of the tanks that I have in here. If I missed something, put it in the comments down below. If you have any other questions, go ahead and put it down there. Myself or anybody else that's watching the video may have great knowledge on answering that question. So definitely don't feel afraid to ask that. But that's gonna wrap up today's video. Appreciate you guys watching. I hope you learned something. And I catch you guys next time.